In this video, I'm going to show you how to get sand. Now, I prefer to find sand in an area where there's a lot of igneous rocks, and that's granite, rhyolite, things of that sort, basalt, what have you. Now, behind me, these mountains here, these are all rhyolite. So this wash that I'm standing in is coming off of the rhyolitic mountains. So this is the best kind of sand. I prefer to steer away from metamorphic rock and also sedimentary rock like limestone, sandstone, stuff like that for your filter material, because they tend to break down and get gooey, where the rhyolitic granite type family, they tend to hold together better, and so it works out for a better filtration system. So anyhow, let's go ahead and get started. So what I'm looking for is a wash that's got a lot of good sand in it. Not so much boulders and rocks, but something fairly decent. As you can see here, as we're kind of panning up this wash, you can see there's a few larger stones, but most of them are pretty small. You start getting into these clusters like right down in here and stuff. That looks pretty good. It's got a lot of finer material, and then as we move further up, you can see more of the sand. Here's a whole bunch of sand just kind of laying right in here, and that's what I'm looking for collecting, because that's got the best quantity. The type of sand we're going to be looking for is 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, and 1/16 inch sands that'll go into our filtration process. So anyway, you're going to need a shovel and a pick to take out there, dig up things. And also I like to bring along a whole bunch of buckets. I like to carry at least about 6 to 8 buckets, so we've got plenty to use. Then also I have my classifying screens. They got different sizes. This is a 1/4 inch. I've got the 1/8 inch one here, and I have different sizes. I even got a 1/2 inch, okay, to help size it down even more. And then I got the 1/16 inch and even finer, so that way we can filter out all the sand. And to help save time, what I did is I built this grizzly screen, okay, out of just some simple 2x4s and 1/4 inch screens. So this helps us, we can shovel in a whole bunch of dirt real fast and already have it screened down to 1/4 inch. So it saves a lot of time. So anyhow, let's go ahead and get out there and get this thing set up. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to throw our dirt right up here on the screen. There we go. Look at all that nice gravel. There we are. Yep. So what we'll do is we'll get a big pile going on underneath here, and then we'll pull this thing off, and then we'll put all the screen material in the buckets, and then we'll go from that to fine screening it further. All right, I think we have enough sand right here, so we'll go ahead and pop this guy off. So we get at it. There we go. Just like that. Now I like to have at least about 4 buckets, maybe 5, to fill up with the sand, and then we can further process out with these bucket classifiers here. Now we're ready to classify our material. We already have the 1/8 inch screen here, so everything that's going to fall into this bucket is going to be 1/8 inch and smaller, and anything larger that stays on top is going to go in this bucket. That's going to be our 1/4 inch, because obviously we've screened it already. So let's go ahead and just kind of pour some of the material in here. Don't want to put a lot of it in there, but just enough to get us to go through the screen. Now, if it's a little damp, you may not want to use so much material. All right? Shake it up real good. Okay, and what's left in here is going to be our 1/4 inch. Maybe there's a few larger stones, but that's okay, it won't matter. Okay, and then what's down the bucket is 1/8 inch and smaller. So let's go ahead and continue the process until we fill up both buckets. Okay, so we got all of our sand classified down to 1/8 inch, and actually a little overkill here. I think I've got too much. I've got 2 buckets of 1/4 inch sand ready to go, so that's awesome. So let's go ahead and get started classifying down to 1/8 inch sand. Now this stuff is much more powdery, so we got to take our time with this. So what I got is the 1/8 inch screen in here. So I'm just going to shake it up, and because it's finer, it's going to take a little longer to shake this down. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and just take all the 1/8 inch stuff and just pour it right here in the bucket, and we'll just continue on. We got 2 buckets of 1/4 inch classified, and we have 1 bucket of 1/8 inch classified, and that's exactly what I want. So now we're down to the 1/16 inch sand, and really just need a bucket of this. Now, this sand's going to be a little tougher to do because you're using a number 20 screen, because you're trying to screen the 1/16 down to a slightly smaller, that number 20, but you don't want it any finer in there because what will happen is it'll clog up the system. So we got to classify that. So what I find sometimes it's just easier to take this and just simply hold it in the air and shake it, okay? Sometimes it just doesn't work as well. Sometimes it's just easier to hold it up in the air and shake it loose, because you really don't need the dirt that's falling underneath here into this bucket. So once you get down to the 16th, you're clear and you can go ahead and put it in here. Well, we finally got our sand all classified here. I got 2 buckets, a 1/4 inch, one of 1/8 inch, and one of 1/16 inch here. It took me about 2.5 hours to actually process this. Now, this is the cheap and easy way to do it, but if you don't want to go out in the field and get your own sand, you can probably go to a sand and gravel company. They'll have it classified for you, just pay for that, or you can find it at your local hardware store. You may still have to classify some of it, but it all depends on you. Now, I like to keep extra stock, so when I'm not out mining, I like to go out and get more of it. So I have a bucket or 2 of each, so that way, as time goes on, you'll eventually start to lose some sand and you'll be able to replenish it. So with that, we're all done, so let's go ahead and get this out to the wash plant.